Are you nervous about making that big business move, or maybe making that presentation, maybe asking that girl out that you like? Well, if that's the case, I'm going to show you how to overcome nervousness.
The Epic Life TV, your home for mastery of habits which create your epic life and business.
What is up, Epic Lifers? It's so good to have you back here again. I'm Mr. O, and this is the Epic Life TV, the only life worth living, home of the rich, ripped, and ridiculously happy. Hey, if it's your first time here, please introduce yourself below in the comments. And if you haven't already, check out our trailer and you'll get to know all about what the Epic Life is all about. I do believe there is a link in the description, conveniently placed there for you. By the end of this video, you are going to know exactly how to overcome your nervousness. I have 3 awesome hacks to share with you that you're really gonna love and enjoy. But just before we get into that, if you want to learn to master the #1 habit which will create your epic life and business for yourself, then you want to subscribe and turn on the notifications on and look out for new videos, because every Tuesday I'm going to be bringing you a new video so that you can transfer the epic life that's inside your mind right now, get it out of your head and bring it into your hands. Oh, and by the way, we only deal with real strategy here. Look me in my eyes. No woo-woo. Okay? We don't do that around here. Okay, so as someone who used to struggle with nervousness and just didn't know how to overcome nervousness, I have now gone from being a really shy introvert to not being extroverted. I'm still introverted, but I have overcome shyness to the point where now I speak out in public all the time on stage. I once had a girl that I really liked who now I'm married to. All right, I was really scared to approach this girl and I got the courage to do that. And just doing stuff like this, like putting videos out on YouTube or on Instagram and so on and so forth. How do you overcome the nerves to do all of that? Well, I'm excited to share with you exactly how I did it and how you can do it the same way with the 3 hacks, awesome hacks that I've got to share with you today. Okay, so first of all, why do you even get nervous in the first place? How are nerves actually created? Well, maybe you've got a presentation to do, or there's a risk that you've got to take, or maybe there's a girl that you want to ask out, or maybe there's a physical challenge that's coming up. And then so you start feeling these butterflies in your stomach, your heart's beating really fast. What's actually happening? Well, the process is this. First of all, what happens is you've got a pituitary gland, and it has many different functions, but the pituitary gland releases a signal down into your kidneys where the adrenal gland resides. Now, what the adrenal gland, that word sounds like adrenaline, right? And that's because it releases adrenaline. Adrenaline, if I could get that out right. Okay, so that adrenaline is released, and what happens is it starts to close the blood vessels that are actually inside your stomach, all right? And what it does is it redirects the blood from your stomach to your muscles, and it makes the blood in your heart pump faster, right? And so those blood vessels that are closing, that's the butterfly feeling that you've got in your stomach. You know, that nervousness, and you're like, ooh, you know, you feel like you're gonna throw up and you're like sweating under your arms and all the rest of that. That's what's actually happening. And by the way, those things are actually to serve you. You see, if you're ever in a situation where there is actually some real danger, then, you know, you need to be in a position where you can run really fast. And so the blood starts pumping lots of blood into your muscles, and the adrenal gland releases that adrenaline to give you that extra boost of power. And so that's where you hear all these examples of people like, you know, a woman that lifts a van up off her child because the adrenaline is pumping. All these different things, these human feats that people manage to pull off sometimes purely because adrenaline is pumping. So it's actually there to serve you. However, that same process happens when you're nervous about something that's not actual danger, but it's a risk none the same, and the brain responds the same way. You get that sensation. And so really it's actually designed to spur you on into action. But what most of us do is procrastinate, or we run away from it. And that's not what you're supposed to be doing. So the thing is this, what actually caused the pituitary gland to release that signal to the kidneys so that the rest of all the stuff I just mentioned happens? Well, you had a thought about something. The way you were thinking about it is what caused the pituitary gland to think, there's danger here. We need to respond. We need to take action here. And so you get that nervousness, right? You get that feeling. It was a thought you had about the event that's going to take place, right? It was the thought. So you had a thought that caused you to be nervous. Well, what if you had a different thought? This is the first hack. The first one is change the way you're thinking about things, because maybe you're thinking the wrong way. You're focusing on the wrong thing, right? You're focusing on maybe what will go wrong. So, for example, all right, I'm married right now, okay? Now, years ago, I was very afraid to ask my wife out, who was then my girlfriend. And it took me 8 years to actually do that. I've told the story before in another video called How to Quit Procrastinating in 29 Seconds. You want to check that out. But I was nervous to ask her out, right? I had that same feeling. And the reason why I had that was because of what I was thinking. Well, you know, we're good friends right now. And if I ask her out, then maybe she'll think different about me. Or maybe, you know what, I'm going to find out that she doesn't really want to be with me, and then that's going to break my heart. And so the fantasy that I have in my head about being with her will no longer be possible. So these are the different things. But should I have really been thinking that? No, I should have been thinking, hey, you know what? I'm a good guy. I'm a nice guy. Why wouldn't she want to go out with me? Okay. And it just turns out for me, fortunately, she did want to go out with me. And now she's been crazy enough to marry me. So she's stuck with me now. Oh well. But I had that same process. So what actually changed? Well, I started thinking differently about it. There was actually a stimulus that actually caused that to happen. And again, that story is in How to Quit Procrastinating. But then when I started focusing on, you know what, I'm really going to miss out. You know, for me, my thoughts weren't, oh, it's going to be so wonderful to be with her. It was more like, well, I'm going to miss out on a really wonderful opportunity and a wonderful life with this beautiful woman if I don't do something. So my thoughts started to change about it, and then I actually overcame it. And believe it or not, the way I asked her out, I didn't tell this part in the story, but this is definitely one for another time. I actually asked her out. Well, I didn't ask her out, but I told her that I liked her doing a poem in a theater in London in front of, I don't know, hundreds of people, right? Kind of crazy. I mean, surely it would have been easier to just pick up the phone or just have a face-to-face conversation, right? But anyway, you know, this is Mr. O we're talking about here. I'm kind of crazy. So that's how I did it. You know, we've been together, 10 years now? And I'm very glad that I made that decision. Okay, so that's the first thing. Your thoughts. If you start thinking positive things, then you won't necessarily have that pituitary gland release the signal down to your kidneys and then release adrenaline. So that feeling that you get, that butterfly in the stomach, that feeling that makes you not want to do it, that can actually be significantly reduced or totally eliminated, depending on how good your thought processes are. But I've got some more fuel to add to that fire to actually help you out here. And that's hack number 2. And that's the words that you're telling yourself. You see, there's one thing that successful people and unsuccessful people have in common. We both have feelings, right? We both have feelings. Here's the thing though. Both groups might say, you know what? I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing it. And those are 5 words that we all have in common. I don't feel like doing it, right? But successful people have 4 more words to add to that sentence. I'm doing it anyway, okay? So these are 4 words. By the way, you don't want to ever say these words unless you're actually gonna do it. Okay, because what you want to do is train your subconscious mind to realize that when you give a command, that's what's going to be happening. And so what will happen is you'll start to burn neural pathways into your brain so that will actually become an automatic thing, right? That's what you want to do. So never say that without following it with action, okay? So be serious. If you're going to say, I'm doing it anyway, you better go do it. And the third hack here is to change your physiology. You want to overcome nerves? You want to overcome your nervousness? It's said that emotion is created by motion, right? Emotion is created by motion. So if you ever think about when you're nervous, do you actually notice what your body's doing and what you're doing? You know, if you're nervous about asking a girl or someone puts you on the spot, just notice what you start doing physically with your body, right? Because you start communicating certain things. There's body language, right? And your body is responding to the thoughts you have. And so, maybe your breath is a little bit more shallow. Maybe your head's down a little bit. Maybe your shoulders are a little bit hunched over. Okay? All these different things. Maybe you start kind of playing with your hands, right? And you're starting to feel really uneasy and you slow down, right? Okay? Now, notice what happens when you change your physiology, okay? You might notice, for example, soldiers, right? Soldiers in war, how they stand up straight, okay? Their chest is out and they march and their arms are coming out like this and they're just marching all together in unison, right? These are things, even if you're scared, right? Just the way your physiology is, the way, your chest's up, your head's up, all right, you're breathing strong, you're walking strong with your power in your stride. These things actually change the way you feel, all right? So I want you, the next time you feel nervous, to actually just act, just embody physically that act of someone who is a courageous, strong person, all right? Now, if you couple that with the first two hacks, your thoughts that, I can do this. I'm doing this anyway, right? Those are your thoughts, okay? The nerves will come down. The nerves will come down and when you change your physiology, those three things, those thoughts, words, and your physiology, the way you move and the way you hold yourself, head up, shoulders back, right? Chest out, breathing deeper, right? All of these things will change the way you feel and it will calm those nerves. Okay, so now you know how to overcome nervousness. I want to invite you to go one step further here with me, and that's to change that into a habit. Okay? Because if you make it a habit, you know what's going to happen? Anytime you face nerves, something is going to happen, right? So what I want to do is I want to give you a boost, okay? There's a cheat sheet, okay? It's the cheat sheet to overcome procrastination, because a lot of the time we get nervous about something and we back off or we change the way we do things. And I've got a strategy that the tax man uses to actually push you into taking action, all right? All the time you were procrastinating, wanting to do something, now you're actually doing it. So there's a cheat sheet and there's a link to it in the description below. And you also want to watch the video, How to Quit Procrastinating. I'll also put that in the description box. I'll put them together because these are two resources that are really going to be helpful for you in overcoming that nervousness. Whether it's for business, a presentation, maybe you've thought about, I want to start my own business. I don't want to work for somebody else the rest of my life. That's what the Epic Life is about. So you'll also see that in the trailer as well. So have a look at those things, take some time, have a browse around and get access to those resources because they're really going to help you to transfer the life that's inside of your head to inside your hands. Okay, so that cheat sheet has everything you need, all the steps that's really going to help you get well on your way. And just before I go, if you want to connect with me where we continue this conversation, then you can join me on Facebook live stream. Just if you follow my page and also my Instagram, that's when I let you know as a reminder that a video is about to drop. So you'll be the first to know about it when it's coming out. And Facebook is where you can interact with me live in real time when we do Facebook streams. So if you've enjoyed this, give it a like, give it a share, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got a new video coming out next Tuesday that you are really going to love. Until then, this is Mr. O. If you're gonna live, live the epic life. And remember, you're only one habit away.